more news to come and more news to share, as one part of Dynamite that I did not mention is that Saraya and Tony Storm officially turned heel last night on Dynamite during their match with Willow Nightingale. And in my opinion, there's two aspects of this that I like. Aspect number one that I like is the fact that, well, their gimmick. That it seems like they're going to be playing up the fact that they're from WWE and that they're not homegrown AEW talent. And I also wouldn't mind the idea of Saraya managing Tony Storm. I would not mind that for a second because it's fitting. And not just because they're both English, but because of the fact that it's fitting that Tony Storm would be managed by, like, I've never actually seen that. But it would be fitting for Saraya to manage Tony Storm and put her in a managerial role like she was with, what was it, Kairi Sane and Asuka in WWE, and I believe Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville when they first came up. I'm not saying Saraya is incapable of wrestling. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it would keep her on TV and not force her to wrestle, and maybe put her in more of a position like Sting is in, where when the situation presents itself, then have her wrestle, as opposed to like allow her to have sporadic appearances in the ring, as opposed to having the expectation that she's going to wrestle more than she needs to. You know what I mean? But either way, both those women turned heel last night on Willow Nightingale, and it prompted the question of how does Hikaru Shida fit in to this situation. But also, it is good. The other reason why I like it, and the other reason why I think it's good, is because it is clear now that Ruby Soho, Willow Nightingale, and Shida will be fitting into the picture in some way, shape, or form. But also, it is clear that AEW finally has a rivalry within the women's division that does not involve the women's championship. That AEW actually has stuff going on in the division that does not just involve the women's title. I know, as far as how I go with TEW, that I am sometimes guilty of, how do you put it? That I am sometimes guilty of not creating depth within the division of, not creating depth within the women's division, and AEW's been, I don't want to say guilty of it for the longest time, but AEW, I've said it since the beginning, that when you're creating a new division, when you're creating a new company, when you're creating new talent, that you need to make sure that the people around you, aka the fans, know who's who and know what's what. And AEW has taken a little bit longer to do that, but is in the process of doing it now, which is giving fans the opportunity to get a better idea of who Willow Nightingale is, who Shida is. That Ruby Soho is somebody to be taken seriously and not somebody to be taken lightly. And all that other stuff that basically AEW has needed to invest in the women's division, and it seems like they're finally doing that, so I applaud Tony Khan for that. Simple as that. Speaking of AEW, we look back at a former AEW talent, that being William Regal, who spoke on a recent podcast about his run with AEW, and went on record saying that he enjoyed his run with AEW, but did not like the fact that he was as featured as he was, because he felt like that he was maybe more featured than the talent was. and that he didn't need to get the spotlight, and that he shouldn't have had the spotlight, that the spotlight should have went to the talent and not him. It is difficult to blame anybody for that, and I'm not saying that William Regal is blaming anyone. I'm just saying in the situation, because of who it is, that it's a little difficult to... It's difficult to specify and look at the situation from a different way, because William Regal is such a heat magnet and somebody that is capable of getting such a reaction, because everybody knows who William Regal is, that it's very difficult to limit that, I guess is the best way to put it. And, you know, under the circumstances, it is just... It's not unexpected, I guess is the best way to put it. It's not unexpected that that happened, or not crazy that that happened. I do want to mention that the Royal Rumble, according to WrestleTix.com, is almost sold out. I believe that they only have about 1,500 seats, 1,500 tickets left to sell out. Yes, according to WrestleTix.com, or WrestleTix on Twitter, according to WrestleTix on Twitter, it is that the seating capacity for the Alamo Dome, which is where WWE is holding the Royal Rumble, is 40,577, and tickets distributed thus far are 39,000, a little over 39,000, which leaves 1,549 tickets to go for a sellout. So it is entirely possible that WWE is going to be selling out the Alamo Dome for the Royal Rumble, but right now, it is very close and not there yet. But not there yet. To allow us to end on a more positive note, I'm going to get to this news first, and then I will get to the last bit of news. But I just want to acknowledge the fact that on a recent edition of Click This Podcast, Kevin Nash worried fans when he mentioned how it's been 12 weeks since his son Tristan passed away, and it's been rough for him. Sean Oliver, his co-host, told him not to joke around about things like that, and Nash basically responded that in a very scary fashion, which prompted local police to do a wellness check on Kevin and Nash. And luckily, Kevin said that he had no intention to follow through with what he said on his podcast, and that I would like to send nothing but positive thoughts and prayers to Kevin. I can't imagine the situation that he's going through. And just know that there are people that are rooting for him and hoping for nothing but the best. And that he has that, eventually, I can't even speak to this because of the situation, but I do hope that Kevin knows that he's got people that want him to be okay, and that I'm sending nothing but the best to Kevin right now after what we have seen. The last bit of news, though, is an update on the WWE Network that I spoke about yesterday, and that update is that it is official as of today that companies like Progress, ICW, and WXW more than likely are getting pulled from the network, and that they are going, though they as in the independent UK-based companies or European-based companies are getting pulled from the network as their contracts with WWE have expired. This is coming on the heels of the possibility of NXT Europe having an announcement, and that Progress will be doing a show during WrestleMania weekend in the United States. So that is a very refresh from where we stood for the last couple of years with the UK-based companies, because also their association with WWE has sort of limited them when it came to, I guess, talent and association with people that were not under the WWE banner. So it now allows companies like Progress, ICW, and WXW to be a little bit more independent. But expect a little bit of a refresh to the WWE Network in the coming weeks, and also a possibility that we will be hearing about NXT Europe. Within the next couple of weeks. Who really knows on that front? But either way, I think if there's anything that the last couple of days have taught us, it's that if you are thinking about contacting somebody, if you are thinking about messaging someone, if you are thinking about getting in touch with somebody in any way, shape, or form, do it, because you never know. And I thank you for giving me the opportunity to entertain and share my content with all of you. And just give me the opportunity to do something that I actually very much enjoy, and I'm grateful to have the opportunity and the chance to be able to do. So thank you for that. And with that being said, it's time for me to say goodbye for the day, and I will see you in the next video.